Life is way too short to focus on all that's wrong with the world. I'm Thomas Roberts.
We got good news. We got good news, yeah. Yeah, good news. You don't have to choose. Good news, yeah.
You know, the very thing that everyone around you is telling you is your liability is your service.
This is Gay Good News. Give me 30 minutes and I'll give you a rainbow.
Hey everybody, it's me and I hope this is working. Yes, I see a thumbs up. All right, so I really apologize. We're running so late, so I'm going to jump right into it. I was trying to explain before that it's been a big day here in Atlanta with the John Lewis funeral services taking place, and we had Presidents Obama, Presidents Bush, and Clinton all here delivering remarks. But I wanted to show you something that you will not see anywhere else. But this was John Lewis passing through the intersection of 10th and Piedmont here in Atlanta, which is the LGBTQ intersection. Take a look. So it was a pretty amazing scene. A lot of people turned out for that. This is what it looked like in still imagery, as you see the hearse, and then going right over the Rainbow intersection in Atlanta here. The Ebenezer Baptist Church is where the services were held today. It's been 6 days of services for this civil rights icon, and people have been celebrating this man's life and doing so in a marvelous way. One of those people, friend of the show, Jennifer Holliday, you can see her right there singing. She was performing a couple of different songs. Aretha Franklin performed this same song, Precious Lord, Take My Hand, I believe at MLK's funeral. So she is now definitely, emboldened in a place in American history. And if you're looking at, she's trending on Twitter, and if you're hearing about the president's remarks today, you may think that this could be the spark of a new time for 2020, because this year's really sucked. And maybe it's going to get better because people are going to be paying attention. Let's hope so. All right, so I want to take you to the big conversation today. And this is really an important one to me. So when I came out, it was 2006, right? And there were a lot of other people in TV news, in national positions, that did not come out or did not say anything publicly. Now, meanwhile, we didn't really have Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all these other things to, for people to give you a thumbs up or congratulations or a wink and a nod of support. It was very different times. But could you imagine this? Like, you are living your dream job, at the Today Show, going on these great assignments, and then you fall in love, and you're about to have a baby, and but you're worried because everybody might find out, who you're in love with, and your family's not like everybody else's family. Well, Jenna Wolfe is courageous, funny, smart as hell, funny as hell. And just, she makes a difference without even knowing it. She made history by sitting down on the Today Show sofa 7 years ago and coming out. And I'm not going to say, she is not, she doesn't take it lightly, but she also doesn't let it overwhelm her, and that's what I got out of the conversation with her. So enough setup. Let's get to it. Enjoy. I am really excited now to bring in my next guest. This is actually a great friend of mine, someone who I love and is doing me a favor. Jenna Wolfe, who is the host of First Things First on FS1. Jenna and I worked together at NBC for many years together. We are refugees of 30 Rock.
We are.
Made it to the other side. We've made it to the other island. Jenna, it's so good to see you.
Oh, Thomas Roberts. I would do basically anything you asked, I would do anything you asked me to do. There is no end to that
Yeah,
sentence
don't
before.
put a caveat to that.
No caveats.
No.
I'm
Thank
thrilled
you
to
so
see
much.
you. I'm thrilled to be here.
So how's isolating going? Because you're still working, right?
Yes, we had 2 weeks off. We did a 3-hour morning show 5 days a week. We went from that, which is just churning out a lot of early mornings and a lot of information. We cut it down to an hour because with everything else, sports stopped as well. So there was really not that much to talk about.
How are you guys covering the sports world with everything at a complete standstill? I know baseball just got fired up, but there hasn't been a lot to do.
No, we're basically covering anticipation. It's the wide world of anticipation of what basketball will look like, what baseball could look like, what football might look like, a lot of free agent stuff. We're getting excited for it. We're trying to get people excited for it. But look, it's like everything else. Everything else is stopped. There are like asterisks by just about everything. So we're trying to figure out what things are going to look like if they get fired up again. Most venues are going to be doing is putting in, it sounds ridiculous, and the first time I heard it I laughed. I was like, guffaw. Fake cardboard cutouts of fans so that the person at home, the viewer, has the viewing experience, and they're actually going to pump in cheering and booing like the old sitcoms back in the 80s.
But wait, are they going to put those cardboard things in with like camera eyes so that the fan actually is like looking at that perspective?
No, so the fan experience is going to be taken out completely. But when we watch, if you watch some of the soccer, which is kicked up overseas, if you just flipping the channel around, it looks like it's packed and you're hearing noises and they're scoring and they're screaming and life is great. But like, if you zoom in, it looks like Mario Brothers from 1985, where like everything is pixelated and it's just like a stick figure with like two random hands. That's exactly what fans look like. I mean, the NBA is trying to do something a little better down in the bubble, but that's theoretically what it's going to be.
And meanwhile, we think about, sports like basketball, baseball. I mean, they're spitting on each other. They're getting angry. They're sweating on each other. I mean, there's going to be some issues there.
Thomas, I used to cover basketball. I'll never forget this story. And I could just say it. Allen Iverson, who's a very, very famous player back in the day, he used to say stuff like he wouldn't wear deodorant for 3 or 4 days before a game to really reek because the guys were touching him. They were all up in him, and it was like his way of defending himself. That's just to give you an idea of how these guys press themselves. Football, it's a contact sport. Baseball, you hit a run, everyone's slapping each other. They're spitting on each other. There's sunflower seeds going left and right. As hard as this is to keep like your 6-year-old away from other 6-year-olds in class, like we're trying to keep 26-year-olds away from other 26-year-olds to keep everybody safe as well.
Now, what's going on with home? Because you have 2 daughters.
Yes.
Are you homeschooling? Like, what's going on with classroom at home?
Yeah. So the one thing I did learn throughout all of this is that I am a horrible homeschool mom. Like, there's no way around it. I'm not being hard on myself. I mean, I'm the worst.
What, you don't let them you don't make them go to class, or what?
I would love them to go to class, but I don't, first of all, understand much of what they're learning. And mind you, my kids are 5 and 6. One was in pre-K this year, and one was in first grade. I mean, she was doing some subtraction problems using like 10 frames. I'm like, I can't. And I'm like rubbing my eyes. I'm like, I need to walk away, take a break.
Look, you're in TV. You're not expected to know numbers, okay? Math is not your forte.
No, it's not.
Not meant
It's, you know what it is? It's all of life packed into a tiny Manhattan apartment right now, right? So I'm working, and Stephanie, my wife, is working, and she's at the Today Show, and I'm at Fox Sports, and they're big studios in a small apartment. And, the kids are in school in a small apartment. So there's computers and laptops and iPads and distractions and Zoom calls and Google Classrooms, and I'm on the air and she's on the air. I mean, it's Grand Central Station all day, every day. And also, I like to work out. I'm fitting that in. So it's a ton of stuff going on.
Fitness freak. You are
I'm a little bit of
jacked and trim and fit, perfect. You got to go.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So and I'm flexing for you to show you. Yeah, the Zoom is here. It's not there. Or is it there? No, it's not there. It's right there. And you're no different, Thomas.
I didn't have
no
two
different.
babies back to back, you know, and to show up looking great. I would have given in. I would have totally given in and been Jabba the Hutt. I would have done everything I could, loved every second of it, and
There are days I wish.
would still have it on. But yeah, it's a lot. You have a lot of life being crammed into a postage stamp of territory. What do you tell the girls though? How have you been explaining life?
You know, the really beautiful thing about that is, you know, there's so many summers and school years that there's so many great things that happen, and really looking back, they all kind of blend into one. And this particular one, as bad as 2020's been, is never going to blend into anything, right? So for the first time ever, we eat dinner as a family every night. And for the first time ever, you know, we all wake up together. I'm not at work. Steph's not at work. We're together. I mean, the kids love that and they cherish that. So all the bad that comes with not being able to see the friends, like they're spending such quality time with us. Yes, sometimes it gets on our nerves, dancing all over the nerves with stiletto heels. But other times it's really beautiful quality time that you get to spend, that you get to see in your children that you would miss if you were sending them off to school, or miss if you were sending them off to camp, or you're all doing different things for dinner. For a lot of us, you know, what this has forced everyone to do is like re-understand the concept of the family, which sort of passed us all by back in, you know, with the Family Ties and, you know, Growing Pains and all those great shows that we used to watch. We don't really have that anymore. So that has sort of brought it back. So what do we tell them? They know about coronavirus. And we try to make what, as bad as coronavirus is, we try to make everything else around it as positive and as lovely as possible without shielding them, informing them, but also letting them experience us. Well, we moved out of the city for a couple months. We rented a house because we weren't sending the kids to camp, so the kids could at least be outside, as opposed to in Midtown Manhattan, where there is no, you know, large grassy area for them to run around. And so Stephanie does her live shots. We have this beautiful garden. So she does her live shots from the garden at the same time that I'm inside in a studio sort of doing my thing. And the kids are just unaffected by all of it, like two moms on television at separate sides of the house. And they're doing art projects and eating their cereal. Could not be bothered. They just get it. It's sort of what they've always known.
I'll get to the love story though.
Okay.
Because, you know, I didn't know that you and Stephanie were dating. I didn't know, you know, it was very, like, if we think back to the time, it was 2013 or 2014 when you came.
I came out in 2014.
You came out in 2014, and it was like, I'm pregnant, I'm with Steph, and suck it. And that was it.
No, it had to have been 2013 because I had the baby in 2013.
Okay, but
I came out 3 months into being pregnant.
I'm pregnant, I'm with Stephanie, suck it.
Yeah.
You know,
that's exactly what it was.
Yes, and it was great. I was so proud of you, so happy for you both.
Steph lived in London for 10 years. We were long distance for 2.5 years. Once she moved here, I was like, oh, this is real. And then I got pregnant. I'm like, oh, this is really real. Could I possibly see a life where, I mean, you know me, Thomas. I mean, I am out there, you know, so either I live and this is who I am, or I don't, and I get the hell off TV and I live in a little box. And I will never tell anyone how to live their life, when to do what they want to do, how to make their own announcement, how to come to terms with who they are. That has to be everybody's individual choice, and I fully get that. Mm-hmm. But for me, it was time. I was 3 months pregnant. You know, most of my friends knew, my family knew. A lot of people at the Today Show kind of knew, but didn't fully. And it was time for people at home who were like, you know, Jenna's gaining weight. You know, she thinks that she's all fitness related. I had a lot, but I just, you know, it's important. And I say this to a lot of people who commended me on what I did, which I don't know necessarily whether I need to be commended. I just sort of said, here's who I am. I didn't say, let me get a soapbox, let me wave a flag, let me lead a parade, do what I do, here's how you're supposed to do. I didn't say any of that. I said, everyone's got their own journey. Everyone's got their own personal timeline and dateline. This happens to be mine. I'm going to do it this way. If in some way this gives you the push or the motivation or the comfort to be able to, you don't have to come out on national television. Maybe you just want to call your mom and tell her. Whatever it is, then I've done my job. And I still feel that way.
In hindsight now, as you look back on it, do you miss being there? Do you miss the Today Show days, or do you think that, like everything, it has its season?
Listen, you know it. There's nothing like all the stuff that comes with being at the Today Show. Whether or not you love the day in and day out, the routines, all of it, whether you buy into the policy and how structured they were, and they live in a box and not too far outside of it, all of that, all the peripheral that comes with it. Oh, I work at the Today Show, NBC's Thomas Roberts, NBC Today. All of that stuff is great. And there's a lot that comes with that. I miss the people. I miss the smell of Studio 1A. I miss, the routine of how nice everybody was when they would mic you up and going into hair and makeup. Like it was a nice routine. They really made you feel special. Look, it's the top. It's the creme de la creme. Like
you're at the mountaintop, baby.
Yes.
You're at the mountaintop.
And if you could just stop for a second and appreciate it and look around, like I did it for 9 years. Like I'm proud of myself. Like there was a moment where Lester and I were hosting Weekend Today, and I was interviewing Tim Russert. Yes. I was about to interview Tim Russert for what was coming up on Meet the Press, and I looked around and I text my dad and I said, well, isn't this this was what I wanted to be when I grew up. I'm being the thing I wanted to be when I grew up. Who can say that? So yeah, there's a lot of it I miss. I also like where I am now, and I like what I'm doing now, and a lot of what I'm doing now works because of the schedule that I'm on. But you got to appreciate when you're in that moment. What about you? Do you miss it?
Oh, terribly. Yeah. I miss the people. I missed the opportunity. It was the dream. It was my dream job. So what is next for you, for Steph? Do you feel like this time away from the city has given you greener acres, desires, or are you cool with going back to the city?
I mean, we have no plans right now to go back into studios. The Today Show right now doesn't know when they're bringing correspondents back. Fox Sports, we have 4 people at our desk. To have 6 feet apart, you would need the widest of wide-angle lenses. Half the desk would be sticking out of the building. So
it's easier to do pop shots.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're in a good place right now doing these kind of Zoom remote shows. As long as people keep tuning in, and it could work, then we could potentially live somewhere else. So we'll see. But I love it. I like the fresh air.
Gym? What are you doing for working out? Because I mean,
look at my home gym. Thomas,
you're cut, you're ripped.
No, what I'm saying,
good.
I have my body, so I don't need much space or anything. I make up all my own workouts. I put together a book. I've got about 1,300 workouts right now that I've sort of put together myself. Anywhere from HIIT to boot camp to hard Pilates to all of it.
And it's all bodyweight stuff.
Almost all bodyweight stuff. I mean, if I use a pair of weights, it's maybe a pair of 8s. I'm as cut as I am, but it's all diet. If you can really, quarantine has either helped people cut down and get in shape, or they've gone so far the other way, they're unrecognizable.
It's like freshman year of college.
Yes.
Introduced to beer and pizza.
Yes. And then you come home after that first semester and you've either put on 15 or you lost 15, and you could tell what kind of first semester. That's basically what quarantine has been. But we're eating really healthy, and I'm really focused on the diet a lot, and that's helped cut. And then obviously working out just supplements that.
But I've struggled, mental health wise through isolation, because exercise has been really important for me.
Sure.
To get those, good endorphins going and to feel good about myself. And I think a lot of people have been struggling with that, just the anxiety of it all.
Right.
If you can introduce, like what you're talking about at home, even if it's 5 to 10 minutes, it makes a big difference.
But the other thing though is, you talk about the isolation, is connecting with other people. So what all of this quarantine has done is everyone's kind of reaching out. Like I train 3 or 4 or 5 of my friends every single morning. Like they tell me what they want. It's like concierge training. I want Pilates. I want a light lift. I want a HIIT. I want a boot camp. Like all of it.
Zooming this, or are you just sending them instructions?
No. I physically do it every day. I work on the show. As soon as I get off, we have a quick Zoom meeting. I quickly change, and I'm teaching for an hour, hard. So I'm connecting with people. It feels good to laugh, but I'm also explaining and instructing. And I think
pay you. Or is this free? Like I can like Zoom you now.
Zoom me tomorrow morning 9:15, and you'll be a part of it. I don't have the heart to take money from anyone.
It's a group thing. It's not like individual. It's a whole bunch of people together.
I mean, it's not more than 3 or 4 people. It's just my friends, but they're really good workouts. And then my little one joins me. She likes to work out. She likes to watch whatever mom's doing. And she's never been able to come to a gym with me before. So she actually gets to watch and see what we do all day. And she found out it's not that interesting.
Do you think the girls have any TV bug, any desire to be on camera for anything?
My older one, it's coursing through her veins. All she is a performer. My younger one is the athlete. So we'll see what avenue the two of them take, but my older one, man, I did an Instagram live for a new app or a new Instagram handle called Hoplite. And, what's it called? I didn't set the thing up right because obviously you and I couldn't even get this Zoom call right off the bat. It took me like 8 minutes to figure out where I was. So while I was figuring it out, Harper hops right in front of the camera. She goes, "Hi, how's everybody doing? It's nice to see you. I'm going to show you how to do a handstand. Watch this little dance I made up." I mean, not even the slightest bit of hesitation. Right. My other one was like a mile and a half down. Nothing.
Or lines down.
Thomas, nothing.
Brilliant.
Nothing. So she's very comfortable. Very comfortable.
You guys are going to be her agents.
I know. You know. I know. We really are.
Well, I love you. I'm going to let you go because I've held you longer.
Okay.
Than I promised.
My pleasure.
This has been so nice to catch up. I miss seeing your face, like in person, seeing your face. I'm so happy for you because I just think you two are just so cool, so great, so nice.
Thank you.
And I used to see you all the time on the streets because we didn't live that far apart from each other. We shared the same CVS.
The same CVS. We'll always have CVS. I texted Steph, but
tell Steph Sterling sends her love.
I will. She's breaking up about 3 or 4 different fights downstairs. I can hear it happening. It's all moving closer to up here, so this is a good time. But I adore you. I wish you nothing but happiness and success, and I hope you two are so happy. Maybe the 4 of us could actually get together sometime in the not too distant future.
It'll happen. Bye, my love.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Bye. Kisses. Take care. Bye-bye.
Isn't she great? I mean, she's just, as real as it gets. All right, I think we're back up. Sorry about that. I apologize. But I was saying about her Zoom classes that she's teaching with friends. I don't think I would jump in there. It would not be my style. Getting out of here because this thing is not working and it's just frustrating me. So I love you all. Thank you for tuning in today. Thank you for supporting Gay Good News. I'll see you next Thursday.